This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 7th show. It takes three things to be successful: belief, confidence, and hard work. If you believe in yourself, that will give you the confidence needed to get through what life throws your way. And if you have a dream, that's what I'm here to talk about with my guest today, you'll work really hard to make that dream happen. Michael Tetteh, author, speaker, and founder of One Kingdom Foundation, and if anyone can talk to you about dream, Michael can. I've had the privilege to speak on the same stage as Michael, and after hearing his story, I knew I had to get him in studio, and I finally got him here sitting right across from me, and an amazing show that you guys have. He says he's a crazy dreamer, and when you see how dreaming changed his life and see the inspiration behind his story, you'll see that you can do it too. Michael, thank you so much for joining me in studio. Just very excited to have a conversation with you.
Tina, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and just share a few stories about dreams. And I just can't wait to get started.
I know. It's going to be an amazing show. So for all the listeners out there, do not turn the dial because you will not want to miss a word of my conversation with Michael. Let me give you a little background about Michael. He was born in Volta Region of Ghana. His soccer career began early in his life playing from the Right to Dream Academy in Ghana before moving to Santa Barbara, California on a full scholarship to attend Dunn High School in Santa Enes Valley, and then attending University of California, Santa Barbara on a soccer scholarship. Michael's professional career began when he signed a generation Adidas contract with Major League Soccer and then was drafted by no other than the Seattle Sounders. Michael is an author and speaker and passionate about leadership in Africa and believes that the missing piece of the continent is effective leadership. He started One Kingdom Foundation, a nonprofit organization that seeks to be a catalyst for a new generation of Africa leaders with honorable character. Michael is also a certified fitness trainer and general manager at Emerald City Athletics, a fitness club in Seattle, where he leads, oversees, recruits, trains, coaches, and oversees the fitness facility and team members. He is married to a beautiful and gifted Kristen, former Miss Washington 2006, which is speaker as well.
Absolutely.
And currently Director of Communication of Washington Global Health Alliance. So, Michael, let's go ahead and get started. And I want to, if you could share with my listeners about where you were born.
Absolutely. Well, again, my name is Michael, and Tina, again, I'm excited to be here. My name is Michael, and I was born in Accra, Ghana. I was born in I always tell people I was born in a tiny remote village in Ghana. My
I
house,
saw the picture of your house.
Absolutely, my house was made out of a mud hut. We can go into deeper and talk about some of the struggles that we went through. But I grew up in a very, very poor environment where just the basic necessity of life, like food and water and drink, was a struggle. Yeah. And it was hard growing up. But that dream. I had a dream one day, sleeping in that mud hut, that my life will become of something. And that dream literally carried me through to where I am today. So, again, I'm excited, and let's get this show rock and rolling.
All righty. So let's, and I liked how when you talked in your story about you really didn't know how poor you were until you got out of the village and went into the city.
Absolutely.
But can you talk about the upbringing and how that shaped you, Michael, as the person that you are today?
Absolutely. Growing up in a poverty environment, it's almost like you are constricted by what's immediate. Because when you look around you, all you see around you is poverty.
Yes.
And in the little tiny village that I grew up, we only had one bedroom where my mom and my dad shared, and there were nothing else. So we had to sleep on the floor on little mats. Sometimes it would rain, and we have to put little bowls on the ground so the water would not spray on the ground around us. And growing up was very, very, very tough. My mom was very hardworking. My dad was very hardworking, and they did what they could to provide for us. Sure. But it was very, very, very difficult. And growing up in that type of environment, it really taught me how how to work hard, because I would watch my mom go out every single day trying and get food to put on the table for us. So it was very, 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 very hard. But that also made me who I am today, because the work ethic and everything that I've developed in my life so far was how I grew up. I had to go on a farm with my grandfather to try and find food. I had to go on the street to fetch water, walk 5, sometimes 6, 7 miles to bring water to my parents. And so all those little things literally shape who I am today.
And I believe, if you're listening to the show today, that life is balanced. There's no exceptions to that rule. And the bigger failure or the bigger losses that you experience in life, there has to be something equal opportunity. And so really, when you come from a place that you did, if you can grasp onto that opportunity, which many people can't. Majority of the people can't. And so you have the 1%ers in the world like yourself, Michael, that really was able to grasp onto that. So I want to talk about your book. What was the inspiration? What's the title of your book? What's the inspiration behind it?
Well, the book is titled Giftocracy. And the subtitle is Awakening the Seeds of Greatness.
Okay.
Growing up in that little village, again, if I could go back a little bit, is the thing that kept me going was my dream. I was sleeping on that little floor, and one night I had a dream that one day I will be playing soccer professionally for Manchester United. Now, we didn't have any television or radio. In fact, our neighbor there, they had TV, and I saw a game on TV of Manchester United, and that picture stuck in my mind. And when I had that dream, I literally saw myself standing on that same field with them. And that dream protected everything that I did. And so right now in my life, where I've had opportunity to write a book, I titled that book Giftocracy, because I believe every single human being has a gift. The thing that makes us unique, the thing that makes us significant is our gift. We all have dreams in our hearts. We all have dreams yearning to be brought out. And so I talk about how can we fulfill our dreams. And the way that I have found out, based on my story and everything and what I've studied in the past, is every one of us has a gift. And when you find your gift, it changes everything.
You're totally right, Michael. And I talk in my book about going through a gift exercise and finding out what that is. And there are a few different gifts out there. But if you have a gift of inspiration, your gift of inspiration is completely different than someone else's gift of inspiration because of your unique life and your unique story.
Absolutely.
Just beautiful. So let's talk about the seed principle. What is that, Michael?
I love this seed principle.
I know everything, but I got to say, what is it? Because I want you to share it with my listeners, because I read your book. I've listened to you speak. Share it with my listeners.
I love the seed principle because I talk about the fact that every fruit has a seed in it. There can be no mango fruit or an apple fruit without a seed. And every single human being has a seed in them. And what's your seed? Your seed is your gift. If you go to an apple tree right now and pluck an apple tree and I ask you, what do you have in your hand? You probably tell me that's an apple fruit. But that's not quite the truth yet. Because trapped in that apple fruit is a seed. And in that seed are actually an orchard. And so I make that comparison with every human being. All of us has seeds in us. And our seed are our gifts. And you have to dig down to find out what your gift is. And that's what I'm here to share with my listeners today.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Michael. Self-discovery. I know you have 10 questions around self-discovery. Can you put that together for us?
Some of the questions, and I'll give you 5 questions. Some of the questions that I talk about in my book is, ask yourself, what are the problems that I love to solve? We all love to talk about problems, but I talk about the fact that some of the ways for you to find out what that gift is to find out the problems that you find yourself gravitating towards. Your problems gives you access. And when you find your problem and you find your gift, when those two match, wealth is a result. So find that problem. What are the things that you find yourself gravitating towards to? What are the problems that you feel like, gosh, I got to stop? What are the things that makes you angry is another question. Your anger is actually your purpose calling at you. So find those things that make you angry. Also, what are the things that you find yourself being very easy to criticize. For example, I love soccer. So when I'm sitting down watching a soccer game, or I see a soccer game, I can literally go through and talk about maybe he should have done that better. Maybe he should have done that better. So find those things where you find yourself critiquing a little bit, and that'll help you find your gift.
Makes total sense.
Absolutely.
So, Michael, tell me about when you took the field against Manchester United.
What a day that was.
I know you had a lot of what a day that was. It just keeps getting better.
What a day that was. It was in 2011. And that was the dream that I saw when I was lying on that dirt floor in my little tiny hut village. When I was back in the village, I told you already, I saw myself playing on the soccer field against Manchester United. And in 2011, when I was drafted by the Seattle Sounders, my dream team has always been Manchester United. I grew up watching them. I bought all their clothes, the little money that I had. I would buy all their uniforms and wear them. And so I love Manchester United. And on that day in 2011, right here in Seattle, I saw myself standing on that same field, playing against the team that I've dreamt about for so long. It was an epic day. Obviously, we lost the game 7-0, and it's probably the worst game that I've ever played in my life.
Really?
It was the worst game that I've ever played in my life. But after the game, I went back to the locker room, and I actually came back on the field when all the fans left to go home. And I stood there just to reflect on what had just happened. It was a dream coming through. And as I was standing there right on that field, I had a small voice tell me that your gift has made this possible. Ancient wisdom says a man's gift makes room for him and brings them before great people. And on that day, what brought me from that tiny village to the city, to United States, to Santa Barbara, where I went to high school and college, it was that gift that was given that made that dream come true.
Amazing. I'm going to take us to commercial, but I'm going to take a little joke before we tag in that Michael talks about when you get to listen to him actually speak and go through his whole presentation, but talks about his first step off of the plane in LA and the first person he sees and her chihuahua all dressed up, and he said, you know what? I have landed on a whole nother planet. For that, coming up next on the Money Hour, more conversation with Michael Tetteh, author, speaker, and founder of One Kingdom Foundation. Do not turn the channel, right here at 1150 AM KKNW.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 7th show. My show is all about how to make money, save money, and build a better quality of life for you and your family. Today's show a little bit special, a little different than what we normally do, talking with our experts in financial planning and the real estate and tax and estate planning. It's all about money, but my guest here today is also about money because it's about dreaming. And when your dream comes true, you can save all the money you need to provide an amazing life for you, your family, and your community. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. To talk with myself or for me to connect you with my guest in studio, call the show at 1-855-400-1150. 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Continued conversation and for the entire show is with Michael Tetteh, author, speaker, and founder of One Kingdom Foundation. And Michael, we've kind of dropped off a little bit with in your book and in a few questions that you have in there. We talked about the seed principle, but I want to move over to your soccer career. And what was the reason that you decided to exit soccer and that transformation? Can you talk a little bit about that?
From the age of 4, I always tell a joke that when I was in my mom's womb, I was already playing soccer and kicking.
I don't doubt that a bit.
I love the game so much, and I started playing when I was 4 years old. It took me to the academy, to Santa Barbara, and everything. I've always been going. I've always been traveling, but I always knew since I was a little kid that I had a higher calling on my life. I knew there was something actually, that was more important than soccer that I was put on this planet to do. I've always had a heart to serve and to be of an inspiration to people. And in fact, when I was a little kid playing in the soccer academy, I was actually the one that was gathering all the younger guys to bring together to do a little teaching. So I had that teachable spirit about me. And when I got to the Seattle Sounders, I actually had a dream one night. And on that night, I actually saw myself building a leadership school back in my village for the youth in my country. And when I saw that dream, I was terrified because I was being asked to give away the only thing that have defined my whole life.
Yeah.
And I had to obey. My faith is very, very, very important to me. And when I had that call, it took me about 3 months to really, really let that go. And on that night, I really saw kids walking around on campus, sitting in classroom, and literally discovering who they were put on this planet to do. And when I had that assignment on my life, I said a little prayer, and I asked to be explained to me what it is that I have been called to do besides soccer. And so the moment I let go of soccer, I began to discover a different dimension of who I was.
Yes.
I didn't know that trapped inside of me was an author. I didn't know that trapped inside of me was a soccer was a speaker, was a business leader, was somebody who could stand in front of people and teach on leadership. And the moment I let go of the thing that I've held on for so long, I began to open a different dimension of myself. And it exactly ties back to what we're talking about the seed principle.
Yes.
When you open a seed, you're only not going to find one apple fruit. It's actually an orchard. And it springs off many fruits.
Yes.
And so the moment I let go of that soccer that has defined me, I began to find a different part about my life.
You know, I heard somebody say you have to sacrifice yourself to become the person that you're meant to be.
Absolutely.
Who said that? I can't remember, but I listened to a lot of motivational clips, but that's exactly what you're saying, Michael. So let's talk about you mentioned in your book about the difference between our work and our job. Please explain that to my listeners.
So, when I was growing up, one of the things that I saw in the village, in the city, and everywhere I go was that they were very, very hardworking people. My mom was a hard worker. And so we've always developed this mentality of, I want to work hard. I want to work hard. Now, over the years, what I've come to find is a little difference between work and job. Anytime I meet somebody that said, I've been fired for my job, I tap them on my shoulder and I said, no, you're not fired from your job. I tell them there's a difference between what your work is and what your job is. People can always fire you from your job, but nobody can fire you from your work.
So true.
Because your work is your gift.
Yes.
Nobody can fire you from who you are. In the book, in fact, I want to mention a couple things that I talk about work. I have a list here that I talk about, and I say your job is what you were trained to do. But your work is what you were born to do. Your job is your career, but your work is your life's assignment. Your job is your skill, but your work is your gift. You can be fired from your job, but you can never be fired from your work. Your jobs are temporary, but your work is permanent. You know, if you tell people, hey, I'm going to work, somebody can always send you home.
Yes.
But when you find your gift and who you truly are, nobody can fire you from it. Yeah. So many times this recession can hit. There might be things that might happen at your job and they can let you go. But find out who you are, because once you know who you are, you can land anywhere and your gift will come alive.
So think about that, the challenges that you go through and the difference between what Michael talks about, your job versus work, or work versus job.
Absolutely.
So, Michael, do you think that it's necessary for people to realize what their gift is in order to live a fulfilled life?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I happened to go to school in Santa Barbara. One of the things that really, really affected me is when I moved from that little village to Santa Barbara, here I was, somebody that grew up with absolutely nothing, into an environment where wealth was everywhere. And I've met people that have actually, they go to work and everything, but then they are not fulfilled.
Yes.
Because they are succeeding in something that they were never born to do. I can tell you how many college students I've talked to who've told me, I went to school for 4 years, I've gotten my degree, I'm working on this place, and yet I'm not fulfilled.
Yeah.
In fact, I work at a gym right now where I get to be exposed to all kinds of people. And every day we get to have little conversations with people. And the stuff that they tell me, they are not fulfilled. Their lives are filled with all kinds of stress and all kinds of sicknesses. They're taking all kinds of vitamins and energy drinks and stuff. And yet there's no fulfillment. There's no passion. There's no sense of energy in what they do. Yeah. So I tell people, before, especially college students, before you go into the workforce, find out what your gift is.
Yes.
Find out what that is, because that is the only thing that will bring you the most fulfillment. I've happened to travel to Sun Valley, Idaho, and I've been to all these places where wealth is everywhere, and yet there's lack of fulfillment. Because, in fact, my mentor says it's possible for you to be succeeding. It's possible for you to be a successful failure.
Yes,
Why?
definitely.
Because you are succeeding in something that you were never born to do.
Yes.
So my whole book tells people, find out what that gift is. Nothing brings you more health than being at a place where you were born to do. It's like a fish in water. I love going to the aquarium and stuff. And I just watch those fish just majestically swimming in that ocean. They are in that right environment.
Yes.
So I tell people, find that environment where your gift can come alive. When you are in that space, nothing can stop you.
Yeah, I wish you guys could actually see Michael and the passion that he has. Just amazing. And yeah, we can be happy and have happiness in life.
Absolutely.
But ask yourself if you're really, truly experiencing fulfillment and true happiness. So, Michael, a message that you would like to share with my listeners today.
Whoever you are listening and hearing to my voice, I want to tell you that you are important. You were not born to make a living. You were born to make a difference on this planet.
Yes.
You are important. You are significant. You have worth. You have something that was needed that required your birth. You are not just here as an experiment. You are not here as a mistake. Your life is important. If I can come from that little village and be sitting in front of beautiful Tina today, you can make it. You have a gift. Your gift, once you find that, it will change everything about who you are.
Yes.
You will stop comparing yourself with people. You will stop competing with other people. When you find that thing that you were born to do, and you have it, it doesn't mean you should be a soccer player. It doesn't mean you should be a musician. Every one of us have something of importance, of uniqueness about us that makes us absolutely unique.
Yes.
So please find that gift and it will change your life.
Beautiful. Michael, how can my listeners get your book?
You can go to, my book will officially be out February 1. On Amazon and all the bookstores. But if you want to get a copy, I actually just did an advance copy. I bought about 100 of them. And so you can go to my website, www.mtetteh.com. That's MTETTEH.com/product. And you can just get a copy. And I will personally sign each one of them and send it to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Coming up next in the Money Hour, hear how to make a difference in your life and the lives of others. Stay tuned for my continued conversation with Michael Tetteh, author, speaker, and founder of One Kingdom Foundation right here at 1150 AM KKNW.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Well, welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 7th show. Are you going to live the life that you were given, or are you going to live the life that you dream of? If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can call into the show at 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com if you'd like to talk to my guest in studio or anything that you want to share with me. I'm sitting across the table from Michael Tetteh, author, speaker, and founder of One Kingdom Foundation, and we're talking about his life, his story, his passion, and his book, and all the amazing things that he's doing. Michael, tell us about your One Kingdom Foundation and your vision for the leadership school in the village.
Absolutely. There's a quote that I use in my book that literally, as I reflect back on my childhood, how I grew up and everything, has been the defining thing in my life. David V. Scott said, "The purpose of life is to discover your gift. The work of life is to develop it. The meaning of life is to give your gift away." Can I repeat that one more time?
One more time, Michael.
It says the purpose of life is to discover your gift. The work of life is to develop it. The meaning of life is to give your gift away.
So it sounds like the most important thing in our life is discovering our gift.
It's discovering our life, developing it, and then giving it away. When I was growing up as a kid, I saw so many kids in my country that were born with tremendous talent. They had tremendous talent in soccer, in other areas, but there's lack of opportunity there. And as a young boy, I've always said to my friends that one day when I become a professional soccer player, I will come back and build an establishment or build a foundation where kids can discover who they really are. And in 2011, when I got here, when I had the opportunity to come and play for the Seattle Sounders, I started that nonprofit, and now we have about 64 acres of land to build a leadership school there, where kids from all walks of life can come there, study what it means to be a leader. Because, like I said, I believe the missing piece on the continent of Africa is effective leadership. And so I've been given an assignment and a vision to build a leadership school where we'll start teaching our young people what true leadership is. When I look across the continent right now, we have a lot of leaders who go into politics and who go into all this different sphere of influence for their own selfish gain. And we need to develop leaders with honorable character whose main mission is to serve our people and not to take the country's worth. And so we've set up a place where we're on a verge in the next 5 years. We're going to break ground and be able to really establish an environment where, again, kids can discover their true gifting and come back to our country and make a difference.
So in my book, Michael, I talk about a reflection challenge, which I created specifically for my book. And one of the things in the reflection challenge is a 30 days. So every day there's a challenge for all of us to do. And one of the challenges is to give back, to donate to some cause, something that means something powerful to you. So if I have a listener that's listening right now that wants to support your foundation, what can they do?
They can go to www.onekingdomfoundation.org and they can see some of the stuff that we've done. I've been in America for the past 10 years. In fact, I haven't been home in 10 years. I haven't seen my mom. I haven't seen my dad, my brothers, because I've always been going, traveling and playing soccer and working with kids. And I've had the opportunity to work with hundreds, if not thousands of kids across the United States. And one of the things that have made such a difference in my life is all the families that I've met in the United States. Literally, I could go to Santa Barbara, I could go to Texas, I could go to Utah, and I'll have people taking care of me. And so my whole thing is to be able to give back, not only to my country, but also to give back to this great country that have been just so good to me. And so when you go to onekingdomfoundation.org, you see some of the stuff that we've done for kids here in the United States and what we are gearing to do back in my country.
Wonderful. And you're such a young man, a lot younger than I am. I can't wait to see in your years the difference that you're going to make. Truly amazing. Why is sharing our gifts so important to the betterment of society?
I have an opportunity to actually speak to about 300 high school kids in the next 2 days, actually. And one of the things that I've been kind of reflecting about is, why is discovering our gift so important, and why is giving it away so important? I've studied nature a lot, so I look at fruits and I look at the animal kingdom, and I study a little bit of trees all over the place. if you go to a mango tree and there's no mango, like how I grew up, because my parents sometimes couldn't find food for us to eat, there was this one mango tree in the village that I grew up with. And anytime I was hungry, I went to this mango tree and there was fruit there for me to eat.
Wow.
Now, if we don't share our gift to people, we don't know what the next generation are going to do.
Yeah.
There is something that is so important that you are meant to do for the next generation.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you are actually a generational thief.
Yeah, I agree, Michael. So when you're talking with these high school kids or kids that are younger, how do you connect with them at that age to show how important it is? Because the true ability to be able to find your gift at a young age, you can make such a difference. So
Absolutely.
how do you share that message with our children?
You know, it was Les Brown who I found this quote
Love
from.
Les Brown.
Love Les Brown as well. Les Brown once said, becoming successful in business is about marketing. And he says marketing is not about building stuff. He says marketing is about telling your story. And when I go into these high school kids, the way I have found over the years is to connect with them is I share my story with them. Because every single one of us has a story. Now, what I found also over the years is people love to create separatism between us. We love to tell people how great we are and everything like that. But when I go into high school, and I get to speak to high school kids, I tell them of some of the struggles that I went through.
Yeah.
Some of the struggles that I went through in soccer, some of the struggles that I went through when I was in high school, when I was not doing well in my grades and everything. So I always say, people will like you for what you know.
Yes.
But people will love you for your failures.
Yes.
And I share my failures with them, and I'm able to connect with them and tell them, if I'm able to do it,
Yes.
if I'm able to come up from where I came from to be where I am today, then you can do it as well.
Yes.
And I found myself just being very humble and just sharing the failures that I've had in the past and the successes that I've had, and just ultimately coming down to the gift that we all have in us.
Yeah, and that's so true. When you come from a place that the more challenges that there are, the more people can connect with your unique story.
Absolutely.
What about ways that people, when they find their gift? So I really encourage to go to Michael's website. If you didn't get the website, go to themoneyhour.com and you can go directly to Michael's website from there. But they get your book, they understand how to find their gift. Now they've realized and had that aha moment of what their one unique gift is. What are some different ways that you can share your gift?
So, for example, when I stopped playing and I became a speaker, I spoke for free. I found any avenue as possible to share what I had.
Yes.
I didn't ask to be paid. I just went it because I knew there was something that was so burning in my heart that I needed to give away. So first of all, when you find that gift and you have that aha moment, this is the thing that I was born to do, I tell people, give it away for free.
Yes.
Give it away for free. Find different avenues, find different areas where you can share your gift with people for free. And the moment people find that, they will actually now start paying you for your gift.
Which eventually you have to, because to really, really contribute to the world, you need to be financially secure for yourself first.
Absolutely.
And then you're in a position to where you can financially give to your children and to your community.
Absolutely.
So, but you've got, just as you said, you've got to start somewhere, give your gift without any expectation, and then in return, it will provide for you so that you can provide in a bigger way.
It will full on provide for you, because when I started playing soccer, I didn't jump from the village straight to being a professional soccer player.
Yes.
I gave my gift away. I work, we know the 10,000 hour rule. Probably, before I got to the academy, I had to run 3 hours to the soccer field before I was recruited, 3 hours to the soccer field because my parents didn't have money to get a taxi for me. So 3 hours to go to practice and then 3 hours back. Wow. I gave and gave and gave and coached and worked with kids, and I just kept on giving and giving and giving. And now it just comes back to me all over the place.
And I think what people forget too, when you give, you're actually mastering your craft. You're getting better and better and better. So you're really, the gift that you're giving is making you better at your craft, which is ultimately going to get you to the position the place that you need to be to really be able to contribute to others.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Michael, your book, The Importance of Legacy, which in my song Dream is a really important word in that song, of really what we're meant to do is we're meant to find our gifts so that we can leave the legacy that we're meant to leave.
Absolutely.
So talk to me. Talk to me about that, Michael. So
there was in the introduction, you mentioned my wife, who was crowned Miss Washington 2006.
Beautiful.
So she exposed me to the pageant world, and her mentor actually invited me to go watch the Miss Washington Outstanding Teen pageant.
Okay.
I was asked to be a judge on the pageant day, and I went, and while I was sitting there, I saw something that was so profound about legacy. It was a kid who has been who was the outstanding teen for a whole year, and it was time for her to give up her crown. And you saw these kids, they did their performance and everything like that. And then there was one moment where she was standing, where they crowned a new Miss Washington outstanding teen, and there was that moment where it was that transfer where she was given a new crown to the girl. And as I was standing there, she had her own crown on her head, and then she was giving another crown to the new girl. And right there was a thought that hit me, that when we give up our leadership, when we give up our legacy, that doesn't mean we are done.
Yes.
It means we are transferring our legacy to the next generation. And so I talked about the importance of leaving a legacy. And in the book, there are 4 steps that I actually learned from John Maxwell, who is my mentor.
Yes.
I learned from John Maxwell 4 things on the importance of leaving a legacy.
And what are those, Michael?
when you pick up the book, you'll be able to find that.
I want you to tell my listeners what those 4 things are.
So, number 1, first of all, John Maxwell says, know the legacy that you want to leave. What is the legacy that you want to leave? What is it? Is it a legacy of buildings?
Okay.
Is it a legacy that will actually last when you are not here? First and foremost, know the legacy you want to leave. Number 2, live the legacy that you want to live. So don't just say, I want to leave a legacy. You live it first.
Yes.
You live it first and then pass it on to the next generation.
Okay.
Number 3, choose who will carry on your legacy. You know, the importance of empowering people. Who are you picking? Are you picking somebody that will just, when you're not here, your legacy will be all gone?
Yes.
Choose who will pick will leave your legacy to. The importance of mentoring and having a coach and having people in your life that you can absolutely pour into them.
Yes.
Now, the last one is make sure you pass the baton. You know, we have a lot of leaders, especially in Africa. We have a lot of leaders that want to stay in positions of authority forever.
Yes.
They don't want to pass on the baton. And I talk about the fact that you have to pass it on if you want your legacy to last. One of the most important things I talk about legacy is most of the times we want to leave a legacy of buildings with our names and everything on it. I had an opportunity to go to Florida where there was a hurricane, and I saw buildings that have stood for years. In the twinkle of an eye was gone like that. So don't leave legacy in only buildings. The most important, the greatest investment you can make in life is to leave a legacy in people. Don't only live a legacy of buildings. Live a legacy of building buildings in people.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, that is the only thing that will last forever.
Michael, I wrap up the show, but I want to talk about something that's really important to me. My personal core practices, as you know from my book, are dream, be alert, and learn to fail.
Absolutely.
Each having a quote, but I want to share my quote from my 3rd personal core practice, which is learn to fail. Life is balanced with no exceptions. Every failure has a gain waiting on the other side. Make the decision to look for the gain and not focus on the loss. So let's wrap up the show today, and I want to hear about the importance for you with failure and how using that failure to turn into your success, using that loss to make a difference in the world?
Absolutely. I've had many failures in my life. Failures in relationships, failures in soccer. The most important thing that you have learned, in fact, John Maxwell wrote a book called Failing Forward.
Yes.
Every mistake that happens in your life is actually a stepping stone for you to learn something very important in it. And so regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what you've had or mistake you've made in the past or what you failed, it's not the end of it. One of the most important quotes that I've secured my whole life was said by my mentor, Miles Monroe, who said, "Your mistake can never cancel your potential." Mm-hmm. He says, I don't care what you've done. I don't care what you failed at. I don't care the mistakes that you've made in life. Your mistakes can never cancel your potential. Mm-hmm. Because your potential is who you are, but nobody knows yet.
Yes.
It's what you can do, but you haven't done yet. And so if you make a mistake today or yesterday or whatever it is, it doesn't cancel who you are. Mm-hmm. Keep going. Keep striving, keep fighting, because your failures are there to teach you something very important. Yep. So when the next opportunity comes, you know exactly what to do.
And when you fail and fail hard, everything that you learn during the process, when you're starting over, and that's what you don't want to do, is don't quit. Because when you start over, you're not starting from the beginning. You're starting from so much further, and everything that you've gained and lost in the way.
Absolutely.
So I want to say, we all say, don't let success go to your head. As important, don't let failure go to your heart.
Absolutely.
Michael.
That's good.
It is beautiful. Michael, thank you so much for spending time with me. I appreciate it. I know you've got a lot of things going on in your life. You're making a huge difference in the world, and it's just a pleasure to have you here. And I look forward to very, very soon being back on stage with you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It's been so fun just being in here, and I can't wait for your book. I'm telling you, people, I just had opportunity to read chapter 1, and I can't wait to delve deep into it for the gift you are to our generation. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Michael. And thank you to my listeners. I know it's a totally different show than what you're used to hearing. Again, talking about our finances, talking with CPAs, financial planners, realtors, me in the mortgage industry. But it is all about having success in your life. That's what the show is about. It starts with our finances, but it goes much deeper than that. It was just nice to be able to share a little bit different spin on the show. This is your host and mortgage expert signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you next weekend. Same time, same place, right here at 1150 AM, KKNW.